Jason Connor.
I'm Kirstine Connor.
We've been married for 17 years.
Growing up in our household, we didn't talk about finances at all. And it was, if you want to know about money, go get a job. So growing up, didn't know how to handle it.
Yeah, I was all about
manage it.
keeping up with the Joneses. You know, before Kirstine turned 21 years old, we had built our first house when we were living in Florida. We couldn't afford it, right? But we had good credit, had built up good credit, and we were leveraging it and using it as much as we can for whatever we wanted. Yeah, probably the first 12 years of our marriage anyways.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm a slow learner when in this department. It was 2004, and we bought a restaurant, and we leveraged into the restaurant, and it failed. Yeah, with a fresh start, coming out of the bankruptcy and everything, it didn't matter. As soon as I could get the credit machine going again, we started spending again. And it wasn't until we sold our property in Morrow County and moved back here to Delaware to be a part of the Delaware City Vineyard Church plant that we really felt a really strong push of the Holy Spirit to stop and get out of debt.
We would get on a pattern where we would do really well, and then we'd fall back into our spending habits. And right now, more so for me, I'm becoming more involved in our finances now that have finished school. And so I'm watching everything. It's like, oh, no, we can't do that, or we need to budget this. We've gotten into a habit now where we budget everything on a monthly basis. We have our expenses, and we modify our budget as necessary. And now the goal for us is to live.
A couple of the big ones is we used to buy new cars every 3 years. And today we have an 11-year-old car, and we have a 5-year-old car. And we're going to drive both of them until they literally fall apart. We are in the midst of moving to a smaller apartment that's going to be less expensive, but still adequate for our family.
We have downgraded our cable. We don't have cable anymore. We decided to stick with Roadrunner, and we have Netflix if we need to watch something on TV, but it's been beneficial for us as a family.
Yeah, our discussions, our arguments about finances are far less. I mean, there's still decisions that have to be made, and we have to talk through them. But most of the time, that we spend a lot of time with Jesus in those types of significant
For me,
decisions.
it's getting in the mindset to be available when he calls, or if there's a need arises, we can say, hey, financially, we can
asking
do
him what to do with it. It was his before, it's his now, and it's not ours. And that frees us up to do things and to use it in ways that we wouldn't. So this desire that Kirsten shared about wanting to do more, it's not that we're not generous now. We are more generous with our money than we ever dreamed of being, and that we have ever been able to be. But yet the desire is to be more generous.
Creating a budget and then following and sticking within your budget. It's not something that's easy to do, but it's very beneficial, and you begin to know where your finances are at. You have a true understanding of your financial picture, and that's the biggest advice I can give. That's one of the things that I've learned the most from, is knowing where our finances are going and where we're at.
You know, the scriptures teach us that the borrower is slave to the lender. And that is a powerful, and it's a very practical truth that I just get, and everybody should understand. And then as it relates to a campaign like the RTC campaign, to be free to jump in and be generous to that, like being generous to other things. And so that means cutting back in other areas to be able to get out of debt and to be free. Then that's okay. It's necessary sometimes to go through a little bit of pain to get to a greater
the timing of the RTC campaign and us paying off our debt and doing the things that we're doing, I think, are related, and I think the Lord is using that to make some changes in how we handle things.
The discussion isn't what are we going to do with our money, what decisions are we going to make with our finances and our situation. The discussion is, what does the Lord want us to do? What is Jesus calling us to? And Jesus has something to say about finances. He talks about it a ton in the New Testament. And that our conversations, and I encourage other people's conversations to not be what are we going to do with our money, but what does the Lord want us to do? What is Jesus calling us to do with our finances? And be open to follow that lead.